Okay, so this video is going to be about my review of Space Jam: The New Legacy. A couple of things before we get into the review. If you don't like long videos, you're probably going to have to bypass this video. This video is going to be extremely long because I got a lot to talk about and I got a lot to say. Secondly, spoiler alert, it's going to have some spoilers in this video. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you haven't watched Space Jam: The New Legacy, you probably want to watch that movie before you listen to this review. And thirdly, if you're interested in content like this, you want me to do content like this, leave a comment in the comments section. I'm thinking about creating a channel, basically reviewing television shows and movies, things that come out on HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, or in the movie theaters, whatever. And I'm thinking about doing a channel like that. If you are interested in me doing something like that, leave a comment in the comment section. Well, without further ado, let's get into Space Jam: The New Legacy. This premiered last week in the movie theaters. I watched Space Jam: The New Legacy on HBO Max. That premiered on Friday, and I checked out the reviews of Space Jam: The New Legacy. A lot of critics were very critical of this movie, and I feel like a lot of people were very critical of this movie because a lot of people had false expectations going in to see this movie, thinking that this movie is going to be a sequel to the original Space Jam. Now, to be fair and to be completely honest, you know, no matter if you're a LeBron James hater or if you're a LeBron James fan, whatever the case may be, whatever side of the fence you're on, it's hard for sequels to one up the original movie. Okay, so it's not the fact that this movie wasn't very good, or it wasn't very entertaining. It's just the fact I feel like a lot of people went in thinking that this movie is a sequel to the original Space Jam, and not only that, they expected this movie to be better than Space Jam. And if you've been following news surrounding this new movie, Space Jam: The New Legacy, a lot of people were talking about, even the people that were actually producing the movie, that this was not going to be a sequel to the original Space Jam. Okay, it was going to be its own IP. It was going to be its own movie. Okay, and that's probably the real reason why they didn't name it Space Jam 2: The New Legacy. They just named it Space Jam: The New Legacy. Something new than the original Space Jam. So I talk way too much about that. Let's just get into the actual review of the movie. Okay, so basically the movie starts off talking about LeBron James when he was younger, when he was in high school, and one of his teammates let him play with his Game Boy, and LeBron James was focusing on this handheld, and you can hear in the background the coach trying to get LeBron James' attention, but LeBron James was focused on this video game. Later on, after practice outside the stadium, he had a conversation with LeBron James, and he basically said, look, LeBron James, you are the next great one, okay? And in order for you to be the next great one, you're going to have to focus all your time, energy, and resources on being the best basketball player, okay? He had high expectations of LeBron James because his talent was through the charts. And then it fast forwards into LeBron James being drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, then went to the Miami Heat, went back to Cleveland, and now he's a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, and they basically did a little scissor reel of LeBron James' accomplishments in the NBA, and now you fast forward into LeBron James at his home. He has kids now, and he has two sons. One of them is much older, well, is older than the other child, and he's already into basketball, okay? He's already into basketball. The youngest one, he's sort of interested in basketball, but his real interest is being a video game designer, and he wants to tell his dad that he doesn't want to go to summer camp. He wants to go to E3. All right. And for all those out there who's been living on the rock and you're not familiar what E3 is, E3 is like the mecca for the gaming industry, where all the video games and electronic products go and gravitate to E3. And he wants to go there because he has dreams and aspirations of something different other than being a basketball player. Okay. And LeBron James comes off as saying, he's stubborn, he's set in his ways, and he's telling his son, you already committed to summer camp, so you're going to go to summer camp. And the youngest son did not feel that. He did not like that because his real interest, his real desires was focusing on video games, okay? Designing and creating video games, all right? And, the wife later on talked to LeBron James about his other son's interest. LeBron James goes to his room. He tries to understand his interest, and he just doesn't see it, okay? Because he's seeing it like, how this fits with basketball, okay? And it doesn't, all right? He tries to use a lot of things that make him great as being a phenomenal player on the court and tries to implement them to his son, okay? And he sort of kinds to push his standard on his son, okay? So instead of, really listening to your son and, being very supportive of your son's other interests and aspirations, he still tries to push in, you have a commitment with summer camp. We're going to go to summer camp. Forget this about you being a video game designer. This game, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Basically, if you followed from the beginning of the movie, LeBron James is probably thinking the way how the coach enforced to him that he sees great potential in LeBron James as being this phenomenal basketball star. And I'm thinking LeBron James feels the same way about his two sons. Anywho, you fast forward to LeBron James going to a meeting at Warner Brothers. He brings his youngest son along, and they talk about, he goes into the studio. Warner Brothers talks to him, try to pitch him this idea and this concept of this artificial intelligence system is going to make try to encourage LeBron James to this system, to this artificial system, which played by Don Cheadle. Talk about how it works, how it's going to make life easy for LeBron James as far as in the movie world. LeBron James totally does not like this concept. He does not like this ideal. And Don Cheadle, and I forgot what they called him in Space Jam: The New Legacy. I apologize. He's furious, he's mad, and he's upset. Fun fact about Don Cheadle. A lot of people are not aware of Don Cheadle. And I think I'm butchering his last name. But his big break, particularly in Hollywood, he used to star in a lot of music videos. Back in the day, back in the 90s. I saw Don Cheadle in Whitney Houston's music video, and I don't know if it's I'm Gonna Be Your Baby Tonight, or it was another pop song Whitney Houston had, and that's his first big break in Hollywood. Now, he has done commercials and things of that nature, but that's when the world really recognized him. And then he also was in Rush Hour, and he's been in a ton of other movies. A phenomenal actor, okay? He was War Machine in the Avengers, all right? So he's been there, done that. House of Cards as well. So, anywho, back to the movie. LeBron, he's upset at LeBron James, and he kidnaps LeBron James and brings him to his world because LeBron James is searching for his son, and he see his son being whooshed away into the gaming world. So, as any father would do, he runs after his son, and then he finds himself in this world too. Now, Don Cheadle's character, and I keep forgetting it, I apologize. I know people are going to say in the comment section his actual character. Anywho, he basically made a deal with LeBron James. He wants to do an exhibition basketball. He wants to play basketball against LeBron James. And the winner of this game, if LeBron James wins, he will allow LeBron James, as well as his son, to leave his world. But if they lose, they get to stay in the world. Now, it was supposed to be just a regular basketball game as far as LeBron James and LeBron James' son leaving this world and going back to their real world. All right. So LeBron James was unable to talk to his son because Don Cheadle was separating them two, and he was planting seeds in LeBron James' son, talking about how your father was never supportive of you. He's selfish. He's stubborn. He doesn't understand you. You know, you have other passion and other interests, and I'm going to help you with your passion and your interests, okay? Because he was manipulating him and also using him, all right? And then he takes LeBron James. LeBron James goes to Looney Tune land, and now he has to recruit his roster, and he meets up with Bugs Bunny, and LeBron James was basically at the chalkboard trying to find WP characters to be on his basketball team, but Bugs Bunny had other interests, and Bugs Bunny brought the old gang back, the same gang that was playing alongside Michael Jordan many moons ago. Okay, so he coerced LeBron James into the roster Bugs Bunny wanted. And the real reason why Bugs Bunny created this roster, because he missed his friends, because, his friends went out and they went their own separate ways. And he was pretty much alone in Looney Tune land. All right. So they get the guys together. The basketball game starts. And Don Cheadle has already manipulated LeBron James' son to create the Goon Squad. Now, the Goon Squad consists of, I forgot. I think her name is Diane Taurasi. She's a basketball player for the Phoenix Mercury. She was a Goon Squad. Klay Thompson was one. Dame Lillard was one. Anthony Davis, and as well as LeBron James' son. And LeBron James was going up against his son and the Goon Squad versus him and the Looney Tunes. And it started off very, very poorly, very, very bad. So much so that they was up 1,000 points at halftime because LeBron James was thinking that it was going to be a traditional basketball setup, but it was a basketball video game with power-ups and things of that nature. And it just didn't make sense to LeBron James because he's so focused in playing basketball the right way. All right. Which, that was pretty much said to him to do when he was much younger. So they go into halftime, and then LeBron James is down and out, and he just don't understand why they're so far behind, and he feels like the Looney Tunes wasn't taking things seriously. Daffy Duck is the coach of the Looney Tunes, all right? And then Daffy Duck said that he saw Michael Jordan at the game. And everybody's is standing up. Everybody's going like, oh, my God, Michael Jordan. Even LeBron James. LeBron said, oh, my God, we can get Michael Jordan to help us, okay? And then you start hearing the Bulls theme music. You got smoke and stuff in the background. And everybody's just waiting on edge for Michael Jordan to walk into their locker room. And it wasn't Michael Jordan. It was Michael B. Jordan. And I knew that was going to pretty much happen. I got a chuckle out of it. I laughed about it. And I felt like people were missing the boat in that particular scene because I felt like LeBron James was paying homage to Michael Jordan, okay? Sort of giving him an olive branch because their relationship is not the same type of relationship Michael Jordan has with Kobe Bean Bryant, God rest his soul. A lot of other younger NBA players that Michael Jordan has came to and talked to and things of that nature. And you just don't see that with him and LeBron James. A lot of people feel like it's jealousy, jealous on Michael Jordan or jealous on LeBron James. Either or. I felt like this scene was it was LeBron James' way of saying, okay, I'm about to give Michael Jordan his props. I'm going to give him this olive branch. Hopefully when he see this movie, he knows how special he is to him in his eyes, and he will love to have a relationship with Michael Jordan like Michael Jordan had a relationship with Kobe Bean Bryant. Okay? But I felt like people missed the boat on that. I digress. Let's move on to the rest of the movie. And then that's when things started to click with LeBron James, saying, look, I can't beat the Goon Squad doing it my way, and I'm going to have to do it a totally different way. He allowed the Looney Tunes to be loony, and then ultimately they started having fun. LeBron James was doing those little picture type poses where you think he has a camera in his hand and he's taking pictures with like he did with Cleveland, just having fun on the court, on the bench. Everybody's having fun. LeBron, and it's addictive. It's so addictive that LeBron James' youngest son, who was playing against him, started enjoying it, and he wanting in. And Don Cheadle reverted back to the attitude of, no, we need to take this thing seriously. This is for all the marbles. I want to win. Who cares about fun? And you start to see the real villain of this, and LeBron James' son start to see his real intentions, and he said, well, I'm going to play basketball with my father. And then Don Cheadle said, that's fine, go on over there. And then he integrated himself into the roster. And the end, LeBron James, they won with his son. He learned an important lesson about, sometimes you have to play, sometimes there's many different ways to play a game, and don't forget to always have fun playing the game you love. And it's not about wins and losses. He also, thought that, he also appreciated his son and allow his son to follow his passion and his dream, okay, even in basketball camp, all right? Which later on in the movie, everyone's thinking that they're going to basketball camp, but in actuality, he wanted to let his son go to E3, which his son did, went to E3, and Bugs Bunny is somehow on the real in LeBron James' world, and they're having a talk, and it just fades away, and then that's it. All right, so let's get into, I talked a lot about this movie, so let's get into my opinions about this movie. I felt like this movie was a good movie. I don't feel like this movie is going to get nominated for any awards. And I don't think this movie is going to be the next summer big blockbuster. I think this is going to be one of those movies that, it's a family-friendly movie. You can learn a thing or two about this movie. And it's going to galvanize father and son relationships, as well as family relationships. And what's more important is family. And it brings that aura to the forefront. I feel like everybody is going to be watching this movie. Families can go to the movie theaters or just watch it on HBO Max and watch the movie. Young kids, older kids, parents, everyone from all ages is going to gravitate to this movie. But I don't think this movie is going to be a huge blockbuster. I really enjoyed the movie. I think the movie was decent. I think the movie was good. But, and I felt like the people that were criticizing this movie, I don't know what they were watching, okay? Or were they even watching, okay? There are some good points about this movie. This movie wasn't totally bad, okay? Now, this movie did have flaws, okay? And the one flaw I recognized halfway into the movie, I felt like everything wasn't in order, all right? I felt like the storytelling really didn't match LeBron James' history in the NBA, because LeBron James always demonstrated this, even day one in the NBA, of having fun, supporting your teammates, okay? Uh, Winning games in different ways, integrating with other teammates and things of that nature, letting everyone play within themselves. LeBron James has been demonstrating this since day one in the NBA, and I felt like the story, the writing, and LeBron James' history really did not match. Okay, now I know a lot of people are gonna say, okay, you're now that's really nitpicking, Chris. Come on, man. It's just a movie. I know it's just a movie, but I felt like if they was going to make this believable, I felt like they should have started in LeBron James' early years when he got drafted in Cleveland. And if you want to tell this story that LeBron James only thinks one way and one way of winning games, and LeBron James is very serious, and you can only play games a certain way. I could. That would probably have been plausible, okay? But I just felt like the writing really didn't match LeBron James' history, okay? So that's one flaw. I feel like another flaw is they integrated way too many people in this movie, and they didn't have time to give you guys a backstory on each and every character. Okay, this movie was more about LeBron James and his son, and the Looney Tunes were put on the side. Now, I will say this, and yes, I know I'm comparing the original Space Jam to Space Jam: The New Legacy. When I make this point, and I understand if people say, well, wait a minute, you just got through saying this ain't a sequel. It's really not a sequel, okay? But I felt like in Space Jam, they really integrated the Looney Tunes, and the Looney Tunes had their own story, all right? And there was constantly throughout the whole presentation of that movie, along with Michael Jordan. With this movie, they was trying to do way too much, okay? Way too much. First, they was trying to integrate all the WB IPs of characters throughout the years, throughout television shows and movies and things of that nature. You had the Flintstones, King Kong, you had Batman, the animated series, you had Justice League. I mean, you had a lot of things. You had a lot of characters that they was focusing on. Even that giant robot, and I forgot his name. And I felt like they was doing way too much. That was just way too much branding, in my opinion. They even showed Michael Keaton's Batman with the Penguin and Catwoman and things of that nature. And by them doing that, they sort of they sort of allowed the Looney Tunes not to properly have their moment in the sun and their time in the sun. There was some funny dialogue jokes here and there, but I felt like the Looney Tunes were kind of lost in this particular movie. All right. I just felt like, that was a flaw in the movie. And maybe people are going to say something differently, but that's just my opinion. And there were other flaws in the movie. I felt like you really didn't get a sense of, even though you got the sense of LeBron James' youngest son and his desires and his passion, okay, you really didn't get a huge sense of everyone else in LeBron James' family. Everyone just had little moments here and there, okay? Even the agent had his moments here and there. I just think it was just way too much. They were just doing way too much in this movie. And if they would have kept the movie simple, more so centered and focused on LeBron James and his family and LeBron James' relationship with his son, LeBron James' relationship with Bugs Bunny, LeBron James' relationship with the Looney Tunes. I felt like if they would have kept it simple and you still want to use those other IPs, that's fine, of what Warner Brothers have, but they shouldn't. I felt like that was more of a distraction, okay? Because I felt like a lot of people were going, okay, they showed this person, they showed that person from that movie, they showed that person from this movie. Who else they're going to show? Another thing is, if you're going to do it right. I feel like the most important WB movie projects were Zack Snyder, the Justice League, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck. I mean, they didn't show they didn't show anything with those characters. Now, truth be known, they're gonna redo Batman. They have redone Batman, and they're also gonna redo Superman, and they're gonna have a different actor, a younger actor to play Superman, and that's probably why they didn't use the Zack Snyder universe heroes in this production. Okay, that's probably why they did, or maybe those actors just didn't want to do it. All right, either or. All right, so I just felt like they were doing way too much, and the Goon Squad, they really didn't elaborate the Goon Squad's powers, and like they did the Goon Squad with the original Space Jam. And yes, I know these two are two separate movies, but how they integrated the Goon Squads in Space Jam, they could have stolen some of them ideals and put it towards Space Jam: The New Legacy. I just felt like the Goon Squad was just added in just to be adding them in. And and other than that, I just felt like I didn't get a sense of understanding them, or even understanding their powers. Okay, they demonstrated the powers, and you have to figure out that. But other than that, that's all I got to say on the movie. I felt like the movie was an okay movie. It was a good movie. It was a decent movie. It's not a great movie. This movie is not going to win a bunch of awards and things of that nature, but I felt like this was a decent movie. If you got HBO Max, you should definitely check out this movie, particularly if you don't watch everything else on HBO Max. If you already, there's really only two movies as of right now, in my opinion, that are made for the summer, and that's this movie and Black Widow. And if you already done seen Black Widow, you might as well just go ahead and see Space Jam: The New Legacy. I think it premiered at the right time, at the right opportunity. Starting off early, and it was an alright movie. It was an okay movie. Okay, I just didn't see the hoopla in why everybody was very critical of this movie. So that's all I got for Space Jam: The New Legacy. I would give it, out of 2 thumbs, I would give it a thumb. Okay, I'll just give it 1 thumbs up. I think it at least deserves that. It had some funny spots. Okay. It really did have some I can see how some of these scenes could be tear-jerking moments, okay? And it had family moments. It was very entertaining. It was very funny. It had its moments on all of those categories, but not for no whole stretch of time. All right. So, yeah, that's all I got. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Deuces.